Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Busy Moms Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset, and Accountability Group. I am super excited for today's call. I love that we already have Sheila on joining us. Today we are doing a Get Cooking with Me cooking class, workshop, demo, whatever you want to call it, whatever word resonates with you. We're actually going to be making three different things. If you watched the emails a week ago, if you watched the post yesterday, if you watched the post today, you will have already had your grocery list. If for some reason you are brand new and you missed the grocery list and you are here live with us and you don't have the things, that's okay. Participate along, ask questions, and go back and watch the replay. If at any point you are like, I really like this, what we're cooking, I want the recipes, drop recipes in the comments. For Sheila and Elena, I know you guys are on your phone, so if you want them, just shoot me a message after. For those of you on Facebook, though, drop recipes in the comment, and I will send these to you so you actually have the physical copies. So in this group, we talk about four main areas. We talk about fitness, nutrition, mindset, and accountability. And today we are actually diving into the nutrition portion and actually getting on the court with it rather than just talking about nutrition. We're actually going to make 3 meals. We're going to make a dinner, which is going to consist of chicken and veggies, and you can use an oven or an air fryer. So if you have an air fryer, feel free to pull it out here as we are talking. Then we're going to be making a lunch, which is, I like to call it a high protein packed chicken salad. Super easy on the go, will last in your fridge up to 1 to 5 days. I actually made a batch on Sunday and we're still eating it for lunch up till today and it's still good. And then we'll be doing one of my new favorite yogurt peanut butter dips. That is a really nice way to increase your protein when you're eating your peanut butter and apple or your peanut butter and celery, and a way to get that protein a little higher and feel fuller longer. So best way to get the most out of these calls is to either be live on Facebook, drop live, drop replay, let me know you're here, or to jump into the Zoom room, actually ask for help, enjoy, have fun with us. We're gonna have conversation. I'm super excited for today. Earlier, Sheila jumped on a little early, so she got my whole excitement of all of this. So just a little background here. I am actually in a client's house today. I am part of their family, and I do cooking and prepping on Mondays for them. And today they asked if I could fill in and watch the kids, and I said, yep, absolutely. So I came in, and I'm actually gonna be making their dinner for them today, as well as lunch for the kids and a snack for them. So it's a perfect thing to try out. None of this is super crazy in tasting flavors. So if you have picky eaters, they can pick things out. Because I know some of you, actually 2 of you for sure, have little ones on the screen right now. So with that being the case, we're just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna have you guys introduce yourself, what brought you on today's call, where you're from, and then I will get into the whole cooking portion. So Sheila, you wanna start us off? Who are you, where are you from, and what brought you on today's call?
Hi, my name is Sheila. I'm from Dodge City, Kansas. I got my little apron on today. I just love it. I love to be in the kitchen. I just don't make time for it. So what brought me onto the call is Morgan's enthusiastic nature. And plus, I do want to cook healthier. And I definitely need the help with the protein because I kind of with Morgan, I kind of listed some things I ate and I just don't get enough protein and I've got to work on that. So I'm very excited. Plus I didn't know what to fix for supper. So here I am.
Perfect. You will have dinner by the time we are done here in the next 40 to 60 minutes. And I love that you noticed that you need more protein. And today we're really working on 3 protein recipes, a dinner, a lunch, and a snack that can easily be made and stored for a day or more. Elena or Kristen, can either of you guys unmute and share who you are, where you're from, and why you're jumping on today? Awesome.
I can go. I'm Elena. I'm from the Lansing area in Michigan. And I'm here because I am really bad at meal prepping and I need to do something. So this will be perfect because then we'll have dinner tonight.
I love it. And if you have an air fryer, feel free to break it out. If you don't have it, we will be using an oven. So preheat your oven to 380, especially if it's an oven that takes forever to preheat. I suggest getting that started now so that when we're done prepping, we can throw it right in. Awesome. Excited to have you here, Elena. Kristen, how about you? Who are you? Where are you from? And why are you here?
Sorry for the chaos, guys. We just got home and the kids want to watch The Garbage Guy before we go in. I live in East Lansing. And I met Morgan a couple years ago. She trained me and still trains me to this day. And I've also dipped my toes into some of her recipes and they are amazing. So that's why I wanted to join today as well.
Awesome. I love it. And once you're done watching the garbage truck, get the oven turned on so you can pop it in there.
Okay. We'll do that.
Awesome. So, like I said, we are going to be cooking 3 different things today. We are going to start with the dinner because that's the thing that's going to take the longest. So, for that dinner, you are going to need your chicken. So, grab your chicken out of your fridge. Make sure you have that. You are also going to need a red onion, garlic, zucchini, peppers. I put yellow and red. You are going to learn very quickly that Morgan does not measure and we use whatever is around. So I know I posted a grocery list, but it's really, we can maneuver and change as we need to. I also have broccoli out because I know Elena said that she only had broccoli, so we can also throw some broccoli in this dish. So you have all your vegetables and you have your meat. In addition, you're going to want to grab your salt, your pepper, and your olive oil. So once you have all of that out, make sure it's on the spot for us. And a pro tip here that when you are cooking something, Sheila, what you got? You can unmute now. And stay
Sweetheart,
unmuted.
what did you say? Okay, I missed, there was a sentence there I missed. Make
Chicken
sure I
breasts.
have the olive oil and,
Salt and pepper.
oh, okay.
You can stay unmuted, Sheila. Okay, so something that you are going to learn is, like I said, I don't follow recipes. I have a recipe here. I will give it to you. It has instructions, but when I say like 1/4 cup, it's a guesstimate. There's a reason I enjoy cooking and not baking, because there's not an actual exact science to it and you get to be more creative. So pro tip is when you are cooking both chicken and veggies, cut your veggies first and put them in the bowl and then move to your chicken. That means you only have to use 1 cutting board and 1 knife, because if you cut your chicken first and it's all raw, you have to either wash it and get a new one, or you have to make sure everything's sanitized. So grab yourself a knife that you enjoy. Grab yourself a big bowl, because once everything is cooked or once everything is cut, we're going to put that stuff in the bowl. And then grab yourself a sharp knife. These types are my favorite for cutting meat and veggies. I like this or this. Yes.
Question, should I cook it now? Like, should I go ahead and keep cooking the food now, or would it be okay if I like prepared it and cooked it later? Just the chicken, just because I have picky eaters.
Perfect. So what I would do is I would cut all your veggies and I would put them in a bag, and then I'd cut all your chicken and put those in a separate bag, just so they're not marinating together.
Yeah.
And I would then tonight, when we do your salt, pepper, and olive oil, mix them together and do your salt, pepper, olive oil. So prep everything and just put them in 2 Ziploc baggies. Perfect.
Thank you.
Great question. So grab your cutting board, grab your knives, whichever one is best for you. I do suggest, if you're not comfortable with knives, I have a feeling you guys all may be. I like this one. I actually took a cooking class in college and they taught you how to use knives, and I realized I was never used to use a knife correctly. So first one we're going to start with is our zucchinis. We want to make sure that we rinse them off. Just nice little rinse to make sure we got all the stuff off them. Grab the paper towel. And if I move too quickly through any of this, let me know, because I do tend to do that. So we'll grab our knife, and for the zucchini, we're going to cut the butts off. So we're going to cut the butts off. We're going to put those to the side. Because I'm making this for a client, I'm going to be doing a double batch here. So if you see me keep cutting, there's a reason. I'm just doing a double batch. For these, now what I suggest is you're going to cut pieces that are about pinky width. They're about pinky width around, and then we're going to cut these in half. So we're going to cut cylinders that are about pinky width and then cut them in half. So we have little half circles. And once you are done with your zucchini, we are then going to move on to your peppers. The biggest thing to remember when we are prepping all of this is we want it to be all about the same size. All your vegetables the same size, as well as those chicken pieces. Because if we have big chicken pieces and small veggies, those veggies are going to cook really quickly and they're going to become mushy or burnt, while that chicken still has a lot of time left to go. So make your way through. Throw them all in that bowl. Same thing, as you move on to your peppers, make sure you rinse them off first. Once I get through this zucchini, I will show you a trick to cutting peppers. At least I think it's a trick. How's it going in there, Sheila?
I'm having fun.
Me too. I love meal prepping with people. One of my favorite things to do is Sundays, I make my grocery list and then I go to Aldi and I buy all my groceries. And then I come home and I make things. And if I'm home alone because Mike's golfing or he's out doing something, I'll call one of my friends and just talk to her because it's fun to do it with somebody, even if you're not in the same kitchen. It's fun to just talk to somebody else. That, or I'll throw on Netflix and I'll watch a show. So what I like to do when I do my peppers is I like to stick my thumb through the bottom and pop the pepper open so that we just break it in half there. And then I just kind of pull the seeds out that way. I find that when I cut it like around the top and I like pull the core out, all that, I end up losing more of the pepper than I want. And same thing here, I'm gonna cut into little slices like this that are nice and long, and then I'm gonna cut it in half. So they're nice inch pieces. We want all of the pieces to be about the same size. And this is where I say about. Hi, are you gonna cook with us?
I have the mute off.
Are you gonna help Mom?
Are you going to help me? Yeah, they're going to help me cut.
I love it.
And if you
And
have chickens like me, you put everything in the compost pile. So
Yep, and discard of your stuff however you see fit. If you are someone who does have a compost pile, create that. Put something I learned is to always have a bowl on. I usually use a paper towel because I don't want to do more dishes. But always have a bowl on your counter for all the scraps so that you don't have to keep moving to the trash. I like a paper towel so it's all here so I can pick it up and toss it all at once. Awesome. So once you've done your pepper, you are then going to move on to your red onion. And Elena, I know you didn't have zucchini, so for your broccoli, I'm not actually going to cut a broccoli, but as you're doing it, getting them all about the same pieces and same sizes is biggest and most important. For your onion, you're going to cut your top and your bottom off. If you don't have red onion, you can use normal onion. If you don't have onion or you don't like onion, don't use it. I'm a really guesstimator when it comes to cooking. And then I like to cut in half and then we peel the skin off the outside. I feel like Rachel Ray today, or Martha Stewart, or like any of those cooking shows. Like that's who I feel like right now. Okay, and then what I like to do is once my outside skin is off, I'm going to cut long ways like this through it and make 1-inch pieces. So I like to go this way first and then go this way. If you have your own preference on how you cut, go for it. It calls for 1 red onion. I am only going to use about half to 3/4. You put in about how much you want. Like 1 red onion is kind of a lot, especially if you know not everyone likes it. It does create a really good flavor in the dish, but if you're like not everybody likes it and they're just gonna all pick it out anyways, just do a little bit less. That's okay. And then we got our 1-inch pieces. And then we break them apart and we'll throw them in here. And this is actually a dish that I make quite often for the kids and they love it. I actually told Mira that I was making it today and that was gonna be dinner and she got really excited. Because we do it in the air fryer. If you have an air fryer, feel free to get it out. And we do it in the air fryer, which makes the chicken crispy. You can also do it in the oven, which is what is preheating right now, because I know most people are gonna have an oven. So what that's gonna do is it's still gonna cook it really well. We still use the same temperature to cook it at, and we still cook it for about the same time. The only difference is the crispiness that the chicken and the veggies get a little bit more when it's in the air fryer. Okay, so I've done my squash, your summer squash, your zucchini, whatever you have. You've done your peppers, you've done your onions, and then we move on to the garlic. And if I'm moving too fast, just stop me, slow me down. For this,
To my onion, sorry.
no, you are good. So this recipe calls for 3 cloves of garlic. If you are anybody like me, I cook with my heart and garlic, which means I am going to use this entire bulb. If you are someone who doesn't like a lot of garlic, I suggest only using the 3 cloves. Also, I'm doubling the batch, so it makes sense that I'm using the whole thing, and they really like garlic. So when I use the whole clove, or the whole bulb, I think is what it's called, I like to pull all the skin off as much as I can first, just so I don't have to deal with it, because it does get kind of sticky once you start cutting into the garlic. You've never cut garlic before, your fingers will get a little sticky. And then I like to turn it on its side and cut the bottom, like, root off. So that the bottoms are nice and exposed. It kind of comes off like this. Then the next thing I like to do is, because there's still a little bit of skin on it, I find the easiest way to get that skin off is to pull all the pieces apart. And if the skin pops off, great. If not, I'm not gonna fiddle with it too much right now, because I'm gonna smash it. And as soon as you smash the garlic pieces, the skin falls right off. So when you are ready, lay the knife sideways, lean into it, smash it. We are going to mince this, so it is okay that it does become a funky shape. We're not gonna put it in as full garlic cloves. Sheila, are you someone who likes garlic?
Yes.
So how many cloves are you using for this recipe?
I'm gonna use 2 because my husband has a tendency to tell me to quit using so much garlic.
Oh,
I
you're a
did
good
tell him
buddy.
he could take over the cooking.
Awesome. So once you have all of that, you are then, if you have a garlic mincer or a garlic press, feel free to use that. I don't like to use that because it's one more thing for me to clean. I would rather use my knife and just have it take a little bit longer and have the pieces not be as small, because I like to kind of taste the garlic as well. But totally up to you. Like I said, I don't like to do the dishes, which means I'm gonna use the least amount as possible. Same reason why we're starting with our veggies on our cutting board and with our knife instead of that chicken. So once I have all the garlic down and smashed, I'm then going to take my knife, hang on like this, top hand goes on top, and I'm just gonna rock back and forth over top. Biggest thing, do not round your fingers underneath, do not get them underneath the knife.
Hey, Morgan?
Yeah.
Okay. When you get ready to do that next garlic again, can you show me? Because mine didn't seem to come like that.
Did you smash? Like, so one piece is here, take the knife this way, put your weight into it.
No, I still got skin on mine for some reason. I
So
missed some.
smash it, and then the skin will peel right off.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So smash them, and then the skin falls right off of them. I saw another hack where you throw them in a Tupperware container and you shake, 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 and the skin falls off. Once again, another dirty dish, something I don't want to include. Great question. Kristen, Elena, any questions? And if you guys don't unmute, I will take it as you guys are doing well. And feel free to cut me off or do whatever you need to.
We're good. Samantha keeps complaining she can't hear, so we have to turn the volume up.
Okay. Is my echo too bad?
No, it's just that Allison keeps talking.
Okay. So if you are ahead of me right now and you're like, I've already done my garlic, I've already done all my veggies, you're then gonna move on to your chicken. Same thing applies here. Like I said, you want 1-inch cubes. The more you can make them all about the same size, the better. So something here, I'm gonna show you what this garlic looks like. is it's not super tiny and refined. It's not minced. It's just like chopped up because I want that crisp. I like the garlic, so I want that crisp. I'm gonna put it in the bowl. Awesome. From there, just because there was some garlic and some shells on here, I am gonna rinse this cutting board just to get some of that skin off. And then I'm gonna bring my cutting board back and I'm gonna move on to my chicken. So for this recipe, when you are making just one, you are going to use 2 chicken breasts. I like to pull off any of those kind of like fatty or weird looking tendon pieces, cut those, and then I butterfly my chicken and then I cut into cubes. I find when I butterfly it first, I get a little bit more of an even cook. Just because if you look at your chicken breast, the one end is thinner than the other. So butterflying keeps it a little bit more equal and even. So.
Explain butterflying to me. I break
Great.
horses, not chicken.
So butterflying is when you are going to take your knife and you're going to put your hand on top here and you're going to rub your knife through and create 2 thin. So sometimes people will like pound this to make it thin. I like to just butterfly it quick and easy. Same thing if you buy this in bulk from Costco or Sam's Club or Aldi or whatever it is, I highly suggest pulling it out of the styrofoam that it comes in, butterflying it, putting it in Ziploc baggies. Because really, half a chicken breast is a little bit more than a serving. Whereas if I cook this all in one breast, I will sit and eat this whole thing just because it doesn't seem like it's that much food.
Gotcha.
So I butterfly them, and then I will cut into like little strips, and then I will kind of cut again so that they're all about the same. Like I said, I don't have an exact science to this. It always turns out great. People always like it. If you're someone who is looking at me like you're absolutely crazy, I need all of the recipes, all of the measurements, it all needs to be precise. I encourage you to just have fun with it, because when you cook, when you put all the right ingredients together, this meal will not turn out bad. There is no way that this would turn out as something that doesn't taste good unless you don't burn it or you eat it raw. So get those pieces cut up. And so I'm using 2 different types of chicken breasts here. One of them is Aldi organic. The other one I found in the fridge, and it's from Costco. So it's in one of those pre-packaged, and usually they're a little bit more liquidy and slimy. So when I use ones like that are not in that plastic or styrofoam container, what I do is I will rinse them just because they do get slimy. So I'm gonna put this on here. You're gonna see just a bunch of liquid, and I will open this over the sink so that stuff doesn't get everywhere. Bring my cutting board to me. Put those, rinse it off, put that chicken breast on that cutting board. The best part about doing it in this order as well is you don't have to wash your hands a bunch of times. Unless the feel of something bothers you, I have made the mistake way too often of doing my meat first and then doing my veggies, especially in a dish like this, and I feel like I'm washing my hands every 5 minutes because I touched raw, or I touched the wrong cutting board, or I gotta wash the cutting board to then use it for something else. So remembering that when you do things like this that are all gonna be mixed together, you want to make sure that you do your veggies first, because it just saves on dishes as well. Okay, so I'm working on my last 2 chicken breasts. Sheila, Elena, Kristen, where are you guys at? How are you feeling with everything?
I am finishing up my garlic.
Awesome. And like I said, I have a bigger batch here. So I'm usually a speed prepper in general, but I'm moving a little extra quickly so that you guys don't have to wait on me because I'm doubling this.
Well, you're doing mighty fine in the speed department.
Thank you. Perfect. Those are all about the same size. If you were
I've been using these little glass bowls,
yeah.
and they're making great for like the garlic and what else did I put in? Onion. I never use them. Now I've got a reason to use them.
Perfect. And those will actually be a perfect size for the peanut butter yogurt dip we're gonna make here shortly
Oh yeah.
when this is in the oven, because it's a dip for one person. If you make it for a lot, then you will need a bigger container. But we're just gonna be making a single serve today. So I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. I am still gonna touch chicken, so I'm just gonna do a little rinse here to get some of it off of me. Okay. So as you guys are finishing cutting your chicken, finishing cutting your veggies, this is your big bowl of all your ingredients, all of it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna season in olive oil. And Elena, you are going to be putting yours in separate baggies like we talked about, and then you're gonna season after. So olive oil, measure with your eye. The biggest thing is you don't want pieces not to be coated. So don't just like pour it all in. I like to drizzle, mix. This is where a thing of like throwaway gloves come in super handy. Like if you're in a restaurant and they'll like wear gloves, cleaning gloves. I obviously don't use them if you've already used bleach and stuff, but like gloves are really nice because then your hands don't get gross. So salt, pepper. This right here is sea salt. You can use any salt. This is pepper. I probably will need more than this now that I think about it. And I will season. So feel free. This is all based on eye. If you don't like pepper, don't put pepper on. If you want to use garlic powder, use garlic powder. If you want to use onion powder, use onion powder. So
Morgan, did you just butterfly your chicken and then, or did you cut it in 1-inch strips?
So butterfly, 1-inch strips, and then into like 1-inch cube things, rectangles.
Oh, okay.
Great question. So we've got our salt, we've got our pepper. If you are not someone who likes salt, or you're watching your salt, I know this looks like a lot, but salt does bring out some of those flavors a little bit more. Because I know the kids like it, I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic powder, just because it tastes good. I've done this with paprika. I've done this with Cajun seasoning. Really salt, pepper, and then whatever seasoning you want mixes really well in this. So once you've seasoned, we are then going to olive oil. And like I said, just kind of start, make sure it all gets covered, and then we're gonna mix. And I have a feeling I'm gonna need more olive oil. I was hoping not to have to get this big container out, but you can buy olive oil in bulk at Costco. So hands, if you have gloves, use them. I find it makes it a little bit easier and more fun. Before you get your hands in there though, grab a cookie sheet, put either parchment paper or tinfoil on it. The reason for this is if you put the stuff right on the cookie sheet, it's gonna cook just fine, but you're gonna have to clean it. Whereas if you put tinfoil or parchment paper, it's gonna be an easy cleanup. You just pull it off and you get to just rinse the cookie sheet rather than having to scrub at it. So get that set up and then dig those hands in and mix. You want everything to be mixed in really well. And Mike likes to say, I'm feeding the neighborhood because I make a mess when I cook. He comes in and there's food everywhere. And he's like, what are we doing? Feeding the neighborhood? I'm like, yes, everybody's really hungry. And food is literally everywhere. So mix it all together so everything is coated in that seasoning. If you feel like you're getting down to the bottom and you're not seeing seasoning, add some in. Olive oil, there should be, like, it shouldn't be like when you hold up something, it shouldn't be dripping off, but it should be a little bit of slickness. And that's how you'll know. Start with less, you can always add more, you can never take it away. So, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna handful this into my baking sheet. Bring this on the side. And I'm gonna spread this out. You don't want it all like on top of each other necessarily, especially the chicken pieces. It can be touching, but it doesn't, you don't want it like piled on top of each other on the baking sheet. Reason being is if you've ever cooked chicken, even in a frying pan, and it is on top of each other, you move it and there's things that are not fully cooked. So, and finding the ratio between veggies and chicken. So, once that cookie sheet is filled, I'm gonna move over to my air fryer real quick. This one right here is an Instapot air fryer. Inside is a little basket, like this. I'm going to pile in. It's not a very big base, so I am going to pile the stuff on top of each other. All that means is I have to shake and mix this a little bit more throughout. But we're gonna drop that in, and then I'm going to add my chicken and veggies. And this should actually be perfect. It's like I've done this before or something. Good, so that's in there. We're gonna add the extra veggies over here. Make sure to scrape out your garlic. It will like to stick to the bowl. Then we'll put that bowl in the sink, and from there, wash those hands. So, how is everybody feeling?
I'm doing well, Morgan. I'm just getting my olive oil and seasonings in there.
Awesome. Perfect, perfect. So, as you guys are finishing up and you're getting everything on your cutting board or on your cookie sheet and in your air fryer, whatever you're doing, 380 for both of them. So some air fryers you have to preheat. Mine's a 3-minute preheat at home. This one, there's no preheat, the Instapot air fryer combo. But I'm still gonna cook them both at 380. I'm still going to shake or stir each of them about halfway. And then we're gonna cook it. I like to put the timer for 18 minutes, but I check it at 15. Because depending on the size and the vegetables you've chosen, sometimes 15 minutes is plenty. And sometimes we need that little extra 18. Sometimes we need a little more. I always start at 18 and I can always add time and I can always look at it early. I've done it way too many times where I put the timer for way too long and then I wait till that timer goes off and then I'm like, oh, this is all burnt now. So I always start at 18, I check it at 15, and then I can always leave it in for longer. So for the air fryer, I don't know if you guys have an Instapot one. There is a specific top you use. It is not the normal Instapot top. It is this top right here that you're going to use. And all you do is you set it on top. And if this is too loud, I will cook this one after we are off the call. So then there is air frying setting right here in the middle. I push air fry, temperatures on one side. It's funny. This is already set up for the last time I was in here. I'm gonna set it for 18, and then I'm gonna push start. So we'll see how loud that is. Sheila, you're gonna have to let me know if that's too loud or what that's.
I don't hear it, Morgan.
Awesome. We'll see what happens once it gets going a little bit more. So I'm also gonna throw my baking sheets in the oven. And depending on how your oven cooks and how it is for evenness, what I would suggest is if you know it doesn't bake even, switch it from top shelf to bottom shelf halfway through. You know your oven better than I do. This one over here, I do switch. And Elena, I know you asked how long this call was gonna be, and I was really ambitious with thinking we could do all of this in 40 minutes, and that is not the case. So with that being the case, we are gonna probably go to that top of the hour mark. I'm gonna check Facebook over here to make sure that everything is good. You guys are finishing up with meal 1. Okay, so I'm also gonna wipe down my area because I have raw chicken on it. I wanna make sure that I've cleaned my area well, because now we're gonna be moving into a dish that is not raw. We're gonna be doing a high protein packed chicken salad. And if at any point you don't have the things, but you still would like to follow along, hang out with me, I promise you can do this at a different time. If you're like, I don't really need a lunch, I'm doing this because, like I said, the kids are gonna eat lunch after this, and I'm gonna have them try it. They've actually never tried this recipe. So when you are ready, we're gonna move on to that protein-packed chicken salad. If you are still working on the first dish and you have questions, just interrupt me and I can always revert back, but I wanna make sure we get through all this in the call. So you're gonna want a cutting board with your apple. If you want the recipes, drop recipes in the comments. So for the protein packed chicken salad, you need a can of chicken. The recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you is for about 6 servings. I'm just gonna make 1 serving, or technically 2, because we're using a big can of chicken. You can get this at Aldi or at Costco, wherever. You're going to need plain Greek yogurt. You're going to need some light mayo, or just regular mayo, really whatever you have. A small bowl, because we're going to be mixing it all together. An apple. Celery is totally optional. If you and your family don't care for celery, I don't suggest putting it in there. You can also use it for dipping. I did have it. The other thing you're going to need, if your family likes it, is a red onion. So I'm going to first start by opening up my chicken and draining it into the sink. So canned chicken does come with water. I find the easiest way to drain this is when you pull the tab off or you use your can opener, pop the tin back in there and just squish it as you drain, kind of like you would tuna if you're tuna people. And it doesn't have to be completely drained. It just has to be, just can't have all that initial water in it. From there, I'm going to dump that chicken salad or that chicken into the bowl. I'm gonna grab my fork and I'm gonna make sure all this chicken is shredded. So when you do chicken and it comes in that little pan, there's like bigger chunks. I want you to mix it and shred it as best as possible.
Morgan, can you show me your bowl, please? Perfect.
It's like, yeah, it's a little bit bigger than like a cereal bowl.
Yep, got it.
If you really want to save dishes, so this one right here does have a top to it. I will make mine in Tupperware at home, just so I don't have to create more dishes. If you've picked up on anything, I don't enjoy doing dishes, but I like cooking. So once all that is mixed in, this is where the estimation kind of comes in. There is measurements on this recipe. This recipe is for 3 cans of chicken instead of 1. So really just measure with your heart. Always start with less, stir it, and you can always add more. So I'm going to, the recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt for 6 servings for 3 cans. So I'm gonna use about 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. I go over, mix it, throw it in there with that chicken. After that, I'm gonna move on to that mayo, and it says about 4 tablespoons for the 6 servings. So I'm gonna use about a tablespoon and a half. And I don't like cleaning measuring spoons because they're so small. I'm just gonna use a normal spoon and estimate. So yeah, that looks good. I'm gonna throw that in there. Kristen is probably laughing because she knows me really well. She is my, she's one of my really good friends as well. And she knows this about me. So she's probably laughing at all of my funny measurements. So
How much Greek yogurt, babe?
about 1/4 cup.
So 3 tablespoons?
Sure.
But on mayo, I'm sorry, I'm behind the ball here.
No, you are good. Do a little bit less of the Greek yogurt. Like
That
do
might be
2
a problem.
tablespoons and then 1 tablespoon of mayo.
Got it.
And
Now
then your
next
consistency. Oh, look at that mixing. Yours looks just like mine. So then here you have the chicken salad. Now we get to add
okay.
all of the fun things. We get to add our apple, our celery, and our red onion. So if you are someone who has specific cutting boards for vegetables versus fruit so that your fruit never tastes like vegetables, please grab one so that you don't intermix. I'm going to start with my red onion. I'm going to, this is a different knife. Same concept that we did for that first recipe. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm only going to use like a fourth of this red onion, if that. And we want these pieces to be really, really smooth. So, like I said, if you're not a huge red onion fan, I don't suggest putting it in there. Because it says 1/8 to 1/4 cup red onion. I don't measure. So I'm just gonna chop. And then we're gonna get into as small pieces as I can. Partly because I know this isn't, when the onion's not cooked, it's an acquired taste. So we want to make sure that we don't bite into a piece that has this huge piece of red onion, especially because it is a really flavorful onion. It has more flavor than just a normal white onion. If you did not set the timer for your dinner, for that first thing we created, please set the timer. Because if yours went in a little later than mine, we're going to have a time discrepancy here. So chop it up as smoothly as possible. Nice and easy. I like to go lighter on it. Awesome. And then I'm going to throw it right into that chicken salad. Next, I'm going to move on and I'm going to cut my apple kind of just directly down the middle. So I have half. And then I'm going to cut the core out because I don't want the core. And you can do that whatever way is easiest for you. From there, I then like to do little slices because we're going to make little pieces just a little bit bigger than those onion. We don't want big apple pieces in our chicken salad. We want like this or smaller. So like the size of your pinky nail or smaller for your apple pieces. And I like to cut into like strips because I find that's a way to make it a little bit more equal. For your apple, when you are making this full recipe, so all 6 servings, you want 1 full apple. Here, I would go with like 1/4 to 1/3 of the apple. Just kind of depends on what your feelings are with it. If you are using the air fryer, remember we want to shake. And if you are getting to about 5 or 6 minutes into that oven, make sure you go and just give it a quick little stir here. We want everything to cook evenly. This is looking great. Tap back on there. Off and I'm gonna come over here. Just smelling delicious. Okay, so once you have your apple and your onion, and your celery, if you're using it, you're gonna mix all that in just like you did the Greek yogurt and the mayo. And then all we gotta do is add some pepper because we want to season it, because if you don't season it, then you just have a bunch of stuff in a bowl. So I like to use pepper, and if you have everything seasoning, it's a really good seasoning to use. I will just use about a few dashes. Yeah, that's good.
Few dashes of what, Morgan?
Everything bagel seasoning if you have it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you don't, really, you can throw in kind of whatever flavors you want, but I use pepper and everything seasoning. And then we mix it all together. And then always try a little bit. I think that's delicious. I will say, I do suggest throwing it in the fridge. It is better when it is a little cool. So I would, once you have everything mixed in, put the top on it, throw it in the fridge before you eat it, because chicken salad's just better cold than it is room temperature. And your yogurt and your mayo are probably not cold enough to actually make it cold. But once you have all those ingredients in and you mix it together, you have your chicken salad. So I'm going to throw this in the fridge so the kids can have this in a little bit. Awesome. And from there, I'm going to clear my area. Where are you guys at? How is the chicken salad coming? I don't usually eat on these calls, and I get to try food.
I'm chopping celery, my last ingredient, and then I'll season.
Awesome.
We're caught up over here.
Awesome. Elena, how are you doing? I know
Cutting some apples and the last bit of celery. Sorry, I'm behind because I have a toddler who needs a nap.
don't be sorry at all. And if you've got to jump, this replay is here. I get taking him down for a nap is important for the rest of the quality of your day.
Yeah. Thanks.
So if you have any red onion, I just throw it in a bag or a Tupperware. We will no longer need that red onion. Now you are going to need, make sure you have a different knife that doesn't have onion on it. Clean up your space, and we are going to move into what is now my favorite, like, go-to dip. And you can dip this with celery or apples. Honestly, the thing is, the reason I came up with this is I started liking apples and peanut butter, which I prefer crunchy peanut butter because I think it's delicious and it adds a little bit of texture. If you are someone who doesn't like it, then use creamy. But I was eating apples and peanut butter and I wasn't feeling super full after. I was needing something else because I just wasn't satisfied. So I needed to figure out how to add a little bit more protein in there so I felt fuller. So what we're going to do is you're going to cut your apple into some slices here because we are going to dip. So you want nice size apple slices for dipping. And you can use that same apple that you just used for that chicken salad. I like using recipes where I don't have to buy a bunch of ingredients. I can just use what I have and I don't have to waste any food because groceries are expensive right now. We shop at Aldi, and yes, there's only 2 of us, so we have a little less people to worry about, but we spend probably about $300 a month on groceries, which is not a lot. It is not a lot, but part of that is because I look at recipes where I can reuse and I don't have to buy a bunch of random and extras. Like as I meal prep, if I have celery left over from last week, I'm gonna make sure I use the celery the upcoming week so it doesn't get wasted. So you've got your apple slices. You can put that knife in those away. You're going to need a bowl and plain Greek yogurt and then peanut butter. And if you're making this for more than one person, feel free to increase this. I'm gonna make it just 1 serving so you know the sizing. And then from there, measure with your heart because peanut butter is great. So if you have not checked your oven food, check your oven food, make sure everything is good. You can either use a spoon or a fork to mix. So we are going to take about 1/4 a cup to 1/3 of a cup of Greek yogurt and put it in the bowl. So once again, I just kind of measure. I just estimate, like, yeah, that looks good. If you like plain Greek yogurt, you can always use more. If you don't really like it, I would start with a lower ratio. Put that Greek yogurt to the side. And then we're gonna move on to that peanut butter. Oh, we've got brand new peanut butter. Oh, you wanna know what this means? If you buy natural peanut butter, this means we're gonna be stirring. So, stir your peanut butter. Try not to make a mess as best as you can. I'm just gonna, I've seen some hacks for this where like you use like a hand mixer, but I've seen those like go wrong. The biggest thing I can share though is when you do mix it and you get it mostly mixed, store your peanut butter upside down because it keeps it from separating again. It keeps it all mixed together. So once you have that peanut butter, then I want a spoon. You're gonna put about 2 tablespoons, which is the serving of peanut butter, in with your Greek yogurt.
How much Greek yogurt? I'm sorry, I'm behind.
Don't be sorry. About 1/3 to 1/4 cup.
Okay.
Mm.
And how much peanut butter, sis?
2 tablespoons. So now we have our container. Now we just mix it up so that there's no chunks. And when I say no chunks, you don't just want like a peanut butter blob. You want it to all kind of become like a mousse consistency. I use crunchy peanut butter at home. So that means like I don't just want all those peanut butter chunks, those peanut butter chunks. And when you mix, you will see the consistency get thicker. Like I said, it kind of becomes a mousse. And if you follow the exact 1/4 cup plain Greek yogurt and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, which I totally made more than that, I'm going to be completely honest. And it's about 13 grams of protein. So instead of just 8 grams of protein, which you get with just peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, you get more by adding that Greek yogurt. So then when yours looks like this, see how it's kind of a nice tan color? Nice, and you can dip your apple in it. It's my absolute new favorite. And there you have your peanut butter Greek yogurt protein dip. So I have, and I know we are coming up on about that hour mark, which may mean we jump off when you guys are still, when you still have stuff in the oven. And that's okay, because all you have to do is make sure everything is cooked. And if you've never cooked chicken before, please let me know, and I will stay on with you longer to make sure that your chicken is cooked. And if you are watching the replay and you're not sure, shoot me a message. This on Facebook, or drop help in the comments, and I will get that to you. I'll help you as soon as I can. If you want recipes, drop recipes in the comments. If you want more of these cooking demos, if you really enjoyed this, drop cooking in the comments and let me know. I currently have a cocktail recipe class coming in June. Summer cocktail class is kind of what's on the agenda as we get into summer, like skinny cocktails. But if you want more cooking classes, let me know. So I'm gonna double check my food here real quick. Make sure, do one more quick little stir. Make sure everything's looking good. Yep. And mine actually, so I'm about 18 minutes on my air fryer one. And because I did things bigger and I did a lot more of it, I'm gonna bump it up to 20 minutes. So I'm gonna add 2 more minutes to that. And I think I'm gonna end up doing the same for the oven. Yeah. So same with the oven. Bump it up 1 or 2 minutes at a time, just so you can start to see. If you're not sure, pull out your chicken, cut in one of the big pieces in half, make sure it's cooked. If you're someone who does use a thermometer, check it. I don't know what temperature. It's another kitchen utensil we don't use in my house. It's all based on touch and look. So I'm not a professional chef or cook, so take all of this with a grain of salt, but I promise if you follow along and you try these, you will really enjoy them. So what questions do you guys have for me? Hi. Do you have any questions for me?
No, it's all good, Morgan. And I am just loving it.
Awesome. So we're gonna go.
I'm gonna jump off here. I got people ringing my phone off the hook.
Awesome. Sheila, thank you so much for joining today. Take a picture of all of your stuff when it's complete and send it to me or post it in the Facebook group so we can see what everyone created.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are welcome, Sheila. We'll see you later.
Apple.
Kristen, how'd you like it?
Well, we may or may not have added some sweeteners.
That's okay.
And it is delicious. We're gonna make more right now of the peanut butter dip, that is. Yeah.
Good. So a little trick, if mom allows it, you can add a few chocolate chips in it and that also makes it really yummy.
What do you think, kid?
A chocolate chip.
Okay.
Awesome. Which recipe is your favorite thus far? I know you haven't tried the oven one yet, but so far, any of them stand out?
Yeah, we're mowing down the peanut butter dip. I didn't realize it's like a mousse consistency. So really good.
Awesome. Elena, how about you? How did today go? What's your favorite dish so far?
Good. I like this dip. I just put a little cinnamon in mine too.
Ooh,
Yeah, I thought I'd try that.
I
but-
love that.
Good. Just trying to clean up.
Perfect. Well, awesome. And I know you guys are fighting nap times and fighting hungry children. So with that being the case, I want to thank you guys so much for jumping on and cooking with us today. Don't forget about your stuff that is in the oven, Kristen. Elena, I know yours isn't doing yours later. You're doing yours later,
But now my dinner's prepped, so thank you.
you are welcome. And if you guys want the recipes, shoot me a message with recipes. For those on Facebook, drop recipes in the comment. Drop cooking if you want more of these, and you guys just shoot me a message, let me know. And we will be back same time, same place next week. I don't know what we are talking about next week because I was just so excited for this one that I couldn't even look at next week. But take pictures of your end products and how people liked it and post in the group or send me a picture because this was so much fun today. Awesome. Well, have a great rest of your day. If you guys need anything, let me know, and I will talk to you all later.
Bye.
Thank you, Morgan.
You are welcome.